because this is evidence of the growing totalitarianism in this country. In the Washington Examiner, Sean Higgins, ready? Bank of America. I have an account at Bank of America. Many of us do. Bank of America has been able to reduce a multi-billion-dollar mortgage fraud penalty imposed by the Justice Department. Notice, imposed by the Justice Department. No trial, no real adjudication. What they're doing is they are shaking down companies, whether they are energy companies, whether they're financial institutions, banks, and so forth. They are shaking them down for billions and billions of dollars. Companies that say, you know what, we don't want to go through this process. It costs us too much money. And so they give in. Bank of America has been able to reduce a multi-billion-dollar mortgage fraud penalty imposed by the Justice Department. Ready? By giving millions of dollars to liberal groups approved by the Obama administration. Remember I told you this was going on, these shakedowns? The bank has wiped about $194 million off its record $16.6 billion 2014 mortgage settlement by donating to nonprofit groups and legal groups. Thanks to little-known provisions in the settlement, the bank only had to make $84 million in donations. The bank wasn't exploiting any loophole. It's a key part of the deal the Justice Department offered to get it to settle in the first place. For every dollar the bank has given to these nonprofits, none of which were victims of fraud, none of which were victims of fraud themselves, it has claimed at least $2 off the settlement. So here's what they're doing. They are shaking down these private companies and businesses for enormous sums of money, threatening to take them to court in these 5-10-year pieces of litigation. The companies say, you know what, from a business perspective, it's easier just to pay them off. Negotiate a settlement. And then the Justice Department comes back and says, I'll tell you what, we'll reduce the amount if you give millions and millions and tens of millions to these left-wing nonprofit organizations that the Obama administration supports. Have you ever seen anything like this? Is this not Soviet-style cronyism? If you have a checking account or a savings account or a mutual fund or some kind of investment with and through Bank of America, this is happening to you. You are subsidizing your own demise. Now listen to this. Among the groups receiving the money were so-called Hispanic civil rights groups like National Council of La Raza, $1.5 million. The National Urban League, $1.1 million. And the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, $750,000. The consumer relief appears to be going to where the settling parties intended, Professor Eric Green, the settlement's official monitor, said in a statement. Oh, we have an official monitor. An egghead. Incredible. Republicans have sharply criticized that part of the settlement, as well as near identical language in multi-billion-dollar settlements with Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, arguing the administration has created a slush fund for liberal groups. The settlement skirts federal law, which says any revenue obtained by the government must go to the Treasury and cannot be redirected to third parties. The deal circumvented that by requiring the banks to make so-called voluntary donations. Yeah, they had guns to their heads. Voluntary donations before they officially entered into the settlements. If this isn't blackmail, what the hell is it? It's nothing short of a shakedown and another example of how the Obama administration is rigging the system to benefit their political allies instead of directing settlements directly to victims or returning the money to the U.S. Treasury. Obama set up a slush fund for community organizers and liberal activists. It's outrageous, says Representative Sean Duffy, Republican, Wisconsin. Incredible. The article goes on and on. We will link to it.